What's good? It's me again, Troy. Before I go any further, I'm going to let people know that I do not claim to be, um, what are the words, a wrestling columnist or a person who knows everything about wrestling, like some of these people on YouTube and having their own shows. I'm a wrestling fan. I've been a fan since 1980. I grew up on NWA. Uh, Dusty Rhodes, all that stuff. So I have a good head about the sport and the business, um, but I tend to keep my comments to myself. But back to this DVD. So the way the DVD is set up is it's a 3 disc set. The first disc is 95, 96, and I believe the second disc is 97, 98, and the third disc is 99 through 2001. So the way the second disc starts out is with DDP promoting himself some more about how the NWO wanted him. Um, it's it starts out with that. It has a match with him and Mark Starr, which is when the NWO wanted to recruit him and stuff like that. And then it goes to Harvey Schiller suspending Eric Bischoff, which was part of the storyline there, whatever. Sting attacks the NWO. That's when he was repelling from the ceiling and stuff like that. The high-flying cruiserweights, they have, a nice little segment on them. And then they have a match, Six versus Rey Mysterio Jr., which I thought was a pretty good match. Hogan versus Lex Luger, which happened August 4th, 1997. If you don't know the outcome of that, it caught a lot of people off guard. The NWO mocked the Four Horsemen. I saw that live, which was September 1st, 1997. I watched it on Nitro that day, and I thought it was trashy. The Horsemen are tradition, but the NWO mocked tradition, so they could have came up a different way to do it. That's my 2 cents. I didn't like the whole thing. Oh well. Then they have Page versus Buff Bagwell. Not a good match to me. Sting saves DDP from the NWO. Okay. Sting versus Savage. Pretty good match. Chris Jericho, 1004 holds. You don't know what that is? Go get the Chris Jericho DVD. Or get this DVD. And you'll see what it's all about. I thought it was pretty funny. Who's next? This is when Bill Goldberg, was getting his big push. And that goes into Goldberg versus Hulk Hogan, which everybody knows that outcome. And then you go on to another page, which has Kevin Nash, Sting versus Scott Hall and the Giant, the WCW Tag Team Champion. It's an okay match, they did what they could. Rey Mysterio versus Chris Jericho, good match. Now this is where I start seeing things that other people are going to probably pick up. Juventud versus Billy Kidman. Now, for those who don't know, Billy Kidman is a road agent for the WWE. Why he's in this DVD, I do not know. He was an okay cruiserweight, but he wasn't the best. I mean, when I think of cruiserweights in WCW, I think of Eddie Guerrero, Rey Mysterio, Dean Malenko, Chris Jericho, Shane Helms. Those would be like my top 5 cruiserweights in WCW. Billy Kidman, he was okay. I think he was that good-looking guy that the girls liked. Kind of had the grunge look with the white beater and the jean shorts. But he wasn't all that to me. Shooting Star Press, don't get me wrong, was very impressive. Very impressive move. But he's on here more than he should be. Then we go to Tradition Returns. This is where Ric Flair makes his return with the Four Horsemen, and he basically calls Eric Bischoff a lying son of a bitch. Excuse my language for kids who are watching this. Curses Eric Bischoff out. Says a line, "You can't fire me, I'm already fired." And then we have a United States Championship match between DDP and Bret Hart. which was a pretty decent match. And then we have Ric Flair versus Eric Bischoff, which we know the outcome of that whole thing. You know, DDP is around during that. You know, basically, I give this disc. Gosh, sorry. Going back through all the matches, there's just some stuff that shouldn't have been on here, like Kidman, and I don't think DDP should have been here and on here as much. I will give it 6.5 out of 10. Now you have to understand, this is called the very best of WCW Monday Nitro. And I will touch on how I feel about that title in the next segment when I get to disc number 3. But like I said, they had some pretty good matches, you know. Mysterio, Chris Jericho, the Hitman versus DDP, even the Nash and Sting versus Hall and the Giant, you know, there's a little bit of history between that whole thing where, you know, I know they had one time where they had Sting and Giant win it, then Sting wins the single match. Goes on to beat the Giant and makes Kevin Nash his tag team partner, which introduces Sting into the Wolfpack, where he wore the red and black face paint. The Wolfpack was more of a hip-hop version of the NWO black and white. I was a huge fan of the Wolfpack, by the way. But yeah, 6.5 out of 10. I give disc number 2. And we're going to holler back about disc number 3. I'm getting straight to the point. Maybe disc number 3, I might drag on more, but I'm getting right to the point. Let me know what y'all think. If I'm full of shit, tell me I'm full of shit. If you like what I'm saying, tell me that you like what I'm saying. Comment is going to be down there. Down where? Down there. Haha.